Welcome to Angels Talk, Soul Relationships. Here's your host, Sandra Lynch.
Hello. Hello. Thank you all again for taking your time to stop, look, and listen in our divine appointment here today. I'm Sandra Lynch, your host and star of the show today on another fun episode of Angels Talk. I'm in a soul relationship, and I'm here today at the #1 TV access station in the nation. That's right, right here, right, calling straight from the inside out to you today. I have with me, oh, I'm so excited. His name is Dr. Saul Shaye. Good morning.
Hello, it's good to be here.
It's so good to be here. It's been a long time since we crossed paths.
5 years.
5 years. And where were we when we crossed paths?
Right here in Fort Wayne.
Yes, we were at the Unity Christ Church. I hear you're a traveling man around the world at all of the Unity churches.
Over 240.
Over 240. Well, let me share a little bit of information with our guest about you. I have notes today, Dr. Saul Shaye. Yes, you've been a chiropractor for over 18 years, right? And you've been a spiritual healer for at least 29. How's that?
Right.
And you've been healing full-time since 1993.
Yeah. That's when I decided to close my clinic.
You've done, yes. You've been a former vice president of the Spiritual Healers Association of America from 1993 to 1999, and the author of many books. One is He Who Walks in Two Worlds. I'm excited. I can't wait to share that one. And Double E Diet. You've also lectured in 8 different countries and for 241 different Unity churches. Might I add, in the U.S. and Canada and Great Britain. I can't wait to hear all about everything you've done in the last few years. Where do we begin? Maybe you can help.
Well, people are always asking me, you say you're a spiritual healer. What exactly is a spiritual healer?
Yes.
Well, you know, Jesus said, everything I do and even greater things you too will do. And what I think he was implying, the potential is within all of us. But until you manifest it, it's just a potential. Well, I didn't realize I had this ability, but as it started manifesting, it finally reached a point that I said, God, you win. I gave away the clinic and started doing the lecturing and the spiritual healing full-time.
Wow. And you've been on the road.
I've been on the road full-time now for 16 years.
I can't imagine what that's like.
It's like a home for Easter and Christmas.
But I hear that you're going to have a team, a television team, follow you around.
Yeah, the Miracle Road Warrior will have a crew. So instead of 1 RV, it'll be 2 or 3.
Beautiful.
Different city every week.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk more. What is one of the let's talk about the most sought after questions that people ask you in this journey.
Well, they ask me like limitations. Can you work with cancer? Can you work with eye problems? Can you work with emotional things like depression? And I said, well, if you're a spiritual healer, who's doing the work? God's doing the work. There is no limitation. People a lot of times get confused between spiritual healing and energy work. Lots of people study techniques and learn energy work, which is like Reiki, acupuncture, touch for health. It doesn't mean that they're a spiritual healer.
And even the chiropractic.
Yeah.
Right? Or just to mention a few.
Well, chiropractic predominantly is a physical technique. It's a physical manipulation of the spine to relieve nerve pressure. Now, I'm sure there are lots of doctors and nurses who are drawn into healthcare who have the gift of healing, and they may not have even admitted it to themselves. But you know, you always hear about people say, oh, I have a doctor and he has a gift. I walk into the room and he seems to know exactly what's wrong with me. And I start feeling better before he even says anything. Well, it's probably that gift of spiritual healing that is already flowing through them. And same thing with nurses who feel, you know, they're so drawn to help people. And they have, you know, a lot more connections than, take a drink of water here.
Sure, go right ahead.
Like than other therapists. So a lot of times you have that nurse that seems to be very therapeutic, you feel good to be in their presence, they're probably a spiritual healer. And we see all different ranges. You know, we see it from slight to total. You know, you see a person says, well, I had pain and overnight I felt better, I could sleep easier. You have someone else said, hey, I had a ruptured disc, I could barely move. Overnight, all the pain was gone and I had full motion. You see the full gauntlet. And people said, well, why did God only give me part of the healing? God's not holding back.
Why?
And by definition, the spiritual healer is neutral. So it always gets to the individual. People have the right to receive fully, partially. 10% won't allow themselves to receive this way.
From anything. You're saying anything.
Yeah, right. It could be physical things, emotional, career, finances. They have their pet healed, you know, with their permission. 10% won't allow themselves to receive this way.
So you're more like, how would you describe yourself? You are what? The angel on the bridge that connects this divine source, or teaches them, brings them to a place, or takes them overboard? What?
Well, you know, it's like the connection is always there.
Yes.
But for some reason, we think it's disconnected. But we always have the availability to go to source. And sometimes we just need reminders. It could be the spiritual healer is that reminder for us, that neutral conduit for us. And a lot of times people say, I don't know if I have enough faith for this. And I say, that's fine, I have enough faith for both of us. And I'm just making the connection for them.
I was just sitting here thinking, okay, so now if I would come to see you, Dr. Saul Shaye, I would say, okay, I would like this in each one of those categories.
Well,
where would we start?
I thought if you have a lot of things,
Yeah.
pick your top 3.
Okay.
The simpler you describe it to me, the better. God doesn't need the details. So, give you an example. Say the person says they have cancer, and I'd say, okay, what area? So they said, cancer in the lungs. Okay, fine, I don't need any of the details. What's the second thing? Oh, don't you want to know that I smoked for, and I said, doesn't matter. Cancer in the lungs. Okay, another thing. Well, I have this shoulder injury. What shoulder? What's the right shoulder? And I did it. I don't need to know how you did it. Right shoulder. That's a second. Third. Well, I've been depressed because we don't know your whys. Depression. Okay, that's your 3. Besides what people mention to me, I'm going to check everything. Because a little concept with holistic health, everything affects everything. So I'm going to check the spine. I'm going to check the immune system. I'm going to check the nerves, joints, bones, discs, ligaments, tendons. I'm going to check the blood, the circulation, the blood vessels, the internal organs, the endocrine glands, the hormonal system, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual centers, and old memories adversely affecting the present.
That's a lot of checking.
And God works fast.
Yeah, okay.
And then when I'm done and I ask anything else, I get it's done. So when people said, oh yeah, but I didn't mention I have trouble with my girlfriend, it's done. Everything is covered. And people said, well, how exactly are you doing that? I said, well, look, when I scan over people, my hand douse energy fields, I don't sense problems. All I see are energy fields that's just like a little battery. And it only has 2 listings, full, not full.
Like on my camera.
Yeah, full, not full. So if it's not full, say the immune system is not full, I just shift to an altered state, and I don't know how I do that. Clairvoyants say they see this golden light coming out of my hands. It surrounds the person I'm working on, and it's recharging that energy field based on what they are allowing. And that's the key. I'm not in charge. God already wants you to have an abundant life. So it's what you're allowing. So when I check all these different things, so the person said they had cancer,